The voice of sharing. 旅人ASEAN.
Good morning. Hi, this is Arlene, your host today for this very beautiful Tuesday morning. Today we have a list of news coming from Southeast Asia for our newsmaker session here. So the first one coming from the Straits Times, the headline is Australian Navy ship detects new signals consistent with black box. So this is the news regarding on the missing MH370 jet plane, and the Australian Navy ship, it has detected new signals consistent with the aircraft black box, said by this senior official on Monday as the team raced against the time to hunt for missing Malaysian flight MH370. So this guy, Mr. Angus Houston, the head of the Joint Agency Coordination Centre, JACC in Perth, he said that the tow pinger locator deployed from Australian defence vessel Ocean Shield has detected signals consistent with those emitted with the aircraft black box. So we are wondering whether it is true. It is finally that, we will be able to find the missing plane MH370. Anyway, he said that the signals have left the search team encouraged very close to what they need, to where they need to be. And he said that clearly this is a promising lead. So we hope that it is. And he added that he is actually more confident than a week ago. The thing about the MH370, it has been a news that happening for weeks and weeks. And we are also, as Malaysians here, wondering, where is the plane? And now, with the new lead, we really hope that it will sort of like clear the air a bit, especially the air of doubt in terms of where the plane has gone missing. So we hope for the best for the Australian team, especially for the Joint Head Agency Coordinator Centre, for, being able to go ahead with the search together with, the rest of the team that is working together in terms of searching the MH370. Moving forward to Jakarta Post, this is a news about the ASEAN Economic Community 2015. So the banks are expected to grab opportunities in regards with this ASEAN Economic Community 2015 next year. With the ASEAN integration looming large, some people are worried that the readiness of the banking sectors to face about the ASEAN Economic Community. Others consider it to be business as usual. There are also those who believe that the banks should see the upcoming single market as an opportunity for growth and progress. So, background on the ASEAN Economic Community. ASEAN has been expanding and accelerating integration mainly through a reduction of trade barriers. And ASEAN Economic itself, it has a goal of to be a regional economic integrated region or bloc, and it envisages key character like single market and production base, high competitive economic region, and a region of equitable economic development, and a region fully integrated into the global economy. So how can the banking sector fit into this goal? The founding members of the regional group, which includes Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei, and also Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam. These are all the 10 countries consisted in ASEAN. And one of the key area of the single market and production base is a free flow of goods and services, investment, capital, and skilled labor. with all this taken into consideration, it has to involve all parties, and this would include the bank itself, and a long time to prepare themselves for the competitiveness, the anticipated entry of new players from other member countries in the domestic market will create. So in this sense, the banking sector will have a win-win situation for the ASEAN economic community. Despite of analysts and business professionals thinking that the ASEAN integration would not happen next year, economic ministers from the 10 member state grouping reaffirmed the intention to continue working towards achieving the targets of the AEC 2015 as set out in the AEC blueprint. So it looks likely AEC will come at the end of this year. But what about the readiness of the Indonesian banking sector? Because this news comes from the Jakarta Post, so the question is about Indonesia itself. For us, Malaysia, I think mainly the banking sector here and majority of the banking sector in the Southeast Asian nation are more or less prepared, because this is a long-term goal of ASEAN, and I'm sure it is one of the goal of ASEAN to have a more integrated market, including having the banking sector to be part of this integrated market economy. So Purbaya Yudi Sadewa, he's an economist at the Danereka Research Institute. He said that Indonesian banks were familiar with competition as there were many foreign banks in the country. He said, with such experience, banks should be ready to enter other countries. Surely they should prepare themselves now by studying local languages and international banking. I understand that players from other countries have studied Indonesian. And for us Malaysians, I believe so as well. I think the banking sectors are usually the most prepared in terms of, facing new economic formation like the AEC. Anyway, the banks in Indonesia must eventually prepare for the AEC. Local banks, for example, were ready to implement the new version of the real-time gross settlement (RTGS) system, scheduled to be launched this year by Bank Indonesia in the effort to make transaction more efficient ahead of the AEC. So, talking about the RTGS system, which is the real-time gross settlement system. It is a system that allows fund transfer to be carried out in real time among banks. So with Bank Indonesia acting as the settlement facilitator, as many as 144 banks and non-banks institutions are official RTGS participants. In fact, the head of Bank Rakyat Indonesia BRI Central Operation Division, he said that the state-owned lenders had prepared everything for the new settlement system last year. So regarding on the new RTGS system, it actually will potentially boost Bank Rakyat Indonesia's RTGS business, both in transaction volume and value. It would also enable money transfers in foreign currencies. So currently, it has a record around 11,000 transactions per day and claimed to be among the top 3 banks after private lending bank Central Asia BCA and state-owned Bank Mandiri. So all the best, Bank Rakyat Indonesia. And talking about the ASEAN economic community, I'm sure the banking sector, regardless is Indonesia or other Southeast Asian country, it must be integrated, and it will provide opportunity for the banking sectors in Southeast Asia. So moving on to another Indonesian news, this time is about the election. So the president declares Fool's Day public holiday. So that's good news, right? And just to give a brief news about this, President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, he has signed a decree declaring April 9, 2014 a public holiday to allow voters to cast their votes in the legislative election. I think this is a good thing. you need to go to vote. And for some people, it's not that easy. You have to ask the permission from your superior. And for some, you have to travel long distance to go to the voting poll station. And having it as the holiday for Indonesians, it will allow all Indonesians at least the opportunity to participate in this election and cast their votes. So the decree signed on April 3 is based on the decision of the General Elections Commission, KPU, on the date of poll to elect members of the House Representatives, DPR, the Regional Representative Council, DPD, and the Regional Legislative Council, DPRD, and an Article 3 of Law number 8/2012, the Cabinet Secretariat said on its official website on Sunday on this. So earlier, the Manpower and Transmigration Minister Muhaimin Iskandar, in his circular signed on March 26, 2014, also declared the poll day a holiday for employees and workers. So it's a good thing, and they also hope that employees and workers can channel their political aspirations in the 5-yearly fiesta of democracy. Looks like democracy is fully charged in Indonesia's upcoming election. Another one, also on the Indonesian election. So Indonesian citizens in the US can cast their vote on Saturday. For the Indonesian citizen living in the United States, along with Indonesian Ambassador Budi Buwoleksono and his wife Reshanti Buwoleksono, will cast their vote on Saturday, on April 5th, for legislative general elections. The votes cast will take place at TPS-2 polling station located at the Garuda Hall of the Indonesian Embassy in the Washington, D.C. So, of the total 1,974 constituents, 1,666 cast their vote in the polling booth, while another 313 constituents sent their votes through postal line. So another one is also about Indonesian casting their vote, but this time is in Singapore. The Indonesian Embassy in Singapore has reported that 23,073 of 112,123 registered voters in Singapore casted their votes for parliamentary election. And the voter turnout fell below target, namely 55,000 people of 50% of 112 and 123 112,123 registered voters voted. Seems like it's a poor turnout. I wonder why. So despite the failure to reach the targeted number of participating voters, the 2014 parliamentary election voter turnout was actually better than the previous elections. Good for that. It is said by the Indonesian ambassador to Singapore, Andri Hadi. So moving on to Jakarta Globe, also on elections, Indonesian elections. So the election campaign is a perfect playground for money laundering in Indonesia. The story of money politics. Usually election is the perfect timing for that. So when legislative candidates spending trillions of rupiah on their election campaigns, they are hoping for something more than just casting their votes. They are really aspiring to be part of, the part of Indonesian big political player, and is a dangerous game because observers has warned against loopholes that encourage corruptions and money laundering by political parties and candidates. So this money laundering issue is actually a very complex issue because it's not like obvious in your face, like, here's the money, go and vote for me. A lot of them, they are actually quite smart in terms of how they influence voters in voting for them through money politics. So it is often committed by professionals, criminal organizations, or individuals who commit acts of corruption, drug trafficking, and other crimes with the purpose of hiding the proceeds of this crime. So this was said by the University of Indonesia lecturer and political analyst Arbi Sanid. He said to Jakarta Globe. He claimed that money laundering and corruption were part of the political party methods of raising campaign funds, although such moves may not necessarily have been detected. Wow, this is a very interesting way of raising funds through criminal activities. Anyway, last year, the Financial Transaction Report and Analysis Center, PPATK, recorded a trend of suspicious transactions before and after the election season. And the chairman, Muhammad Yusuf, reported that the incidence of this activity rose from 145% in 2014 and 2015 to 125% in 2008 to 2009. What is in doubt of this regulation is the way it is being implemented, because I think it is hard to, as government officials, probably it would be hard for them to detect how this kind of transaction would happen during the election campaigning. And I believe that is the reason why during election is the perfect playground for these political parties, to do money laundering. And anyway, the regulations still lacks a foolproof verification methods, enforcement and accountability. That is being said by the chairman itself. And that's the reason why also that political parties could be involved in illegal activities and not being caught by it. He added that, I noticed one candidate who comes from a humble financial background or has an unexceptional job, but held a strong campaign with massive attributes. There is also a candidate who spent 6 billion rupiahs but reported expenditure less than 1 billion rupiahs to the party. Anyway, he also cited that a political party which reportedly spent more than its income, and worse are candidates who choose to stay quiet, neglecting the responsibility in accurately reporting their spending for the campaign. But the positive point is they do need to report their election campaign expenditure. So this is something that at least the best, the system can do in terms of conducting check and balance, although this sort of check and balance is not easy to monitor, especially a country as large as Indonesia. For this, it's very hard for me to, as a Malaysian, to really comprehend this easily, because in Malaysia, we do not have yet a mechanism put in place in terms of monitoring our election campaign expenditure. So, but this is something that I think would be good for Malaysia to implement itself. So moving on. This time is in Brunei. So the headline is called Post-Lekko, Brunei rolls out business-friendly allocations. So in Brunei, they are setting up a policy that is, it's not a policy, it's a budget that is business-friendly. And the 2014-2015 budget for Brunei Darussalam, which already came into effect on April 1st, has a strong business focus, seeking to promote investment, stimulate and support private sector growth, and help provide the tools and skill needed to sustain economic development and diversity. So regarding on this budget, it is being ratified by the Legislative Council, LegCo, on March 22nd. it maintains high level of spending on social welfare and community development programs, as we know on Brunei's more welfare-centric focus of its country's political system. With housing, health, and education among the major recipients of the funding. There were also a number of provisions aimed at boosting private sector's activities. So, talking about the private sector, the government is definitely wanting to generating economic growth, establishing job opportunities. So, thus it is trying to be much more business friendly than usual. So, tabling the draft budget on March 10th, Yang Berhormat Pehin Orang Kaya Laila Setia Datuk Sri Setia Haji Abdul Rahmat Haji Ibrahim, the Second Minister of the Finance, told that the LECO, the focus was to enhancing education and training, stimulating investment and private sector growth, increasing economic productivity, and ensuring social welfare. The budget is intended to assist the private sector in maintaining the momentum it had in 2013, when it expanded by 3.7% above the 3.2% growth in the public sector. So, the more helpful occasions was given to the business entity, the more developed the country economic will be. I guess this seems to be what is being echoed in the budget itself. Moving forward to Bangkok Post. So, 1 killed and 21 wounded in Yala bombs. Yala is the only landlocked province in the south of Thailand, the southern part of borders of Kedah and Perak in Malaysia. And due to the bomb, 1 person died and 28 others were wounded when 4 bombs exploded almost simultaneously in downtown Yala on Sunday. One of the devices was hidden in the car, which was stolen a long time ago, and the car has also been used for several robberies. So it seems like the issue in the southern Thailand is not really at peace yet, with the bombing happening right now. And moving on to another news, also with a similar focus in Yala. So, 1 killed as rash of bombings hits Yala. It is being reported by National Multi-Times. Yala, as I described earlier, it is at the southern part borders of Kedah and Perak of Malaysia. It is also one of the several hot spots in the predominantly Muslim Deed South, where violence erupted in early 2004 and had killed more than 5,000 people so far. The government of Thailand believes that the separatist movement are behind this violence. So the first of the 4 blasts that went off at the Colosseum intersection was at 4 o'clock that day. And the second was in front of the Raja Furniture Shop, while the third was at the ATM machine in front of the Provincial Electricity Office. And the fourth was at the Far Side Shop. But the most serious one was at the Raja Furniture and Siro Road, where an unknown person was found dead and a fire broke out after that. The police is right now they are working towards trying to investigate the bombing, and they hope that the surveillance camera footage in the area might be of use in identifying suspect behind the bombing. We hope that the southern Thai borders would eventually, be at peace and similarly to what had happened between the Bangsamoro and the Philippines government, we hope that the separatist group in southern Thailand and the Thai government would eventually work towards peace instead of, fighting with each other due to sovereignty. Moving on to Cambodia Daily, thugs attack home of family in land disputes. So this is about the land issue. I think Cambodia and other Indochina countries, they are constantly facing land issue. And regarding on the land issue, about 20 assailants armed with wooden sticks and samurai-style sword. Wow, samurai-style sword. Being attacked in a property in Phnom Penh. The name is called Tuok Ko District, inhabited by 3 families at the center of a land dispute with a development company, according to the resident. So actually the attack is nothing new. It's just the latest in a series of violent attacks on the family members living in the residence in Byong Kat Wan commune. They accuse the Khun Ser Import and Export Company of employing thugs in an attempt to force them off the land after they refused the company's offer of $15,000 in compensation. Poor residents, they are losing their land, and at the same time they are being forced by gang members of these rich tycoons. Just because, the capitalists are overtaking the lands there. Anyway, since the family refused an offer of $50,000 to vacate the land, they have been subject to a campaign of violent intimidation, including an arson attempt on Mr. Sreng Keng with an iron bar and a bag of poison cobras thrown through their windows. Talking about the violence that is happening is actually quite worrisome, that they have to be forced from their land, and due to this, they are even being attacked physically. Thinking back, who is the right and who is wrong in this case, since both parties has their own say in the case? Personally, I would take the side of the victims, which are the residents themselves, because they are being victimized, and this is a human right for them to own lands and to live on their land. And it's nobody's business for this company to chase them away and to harm them even more. So, in that sense, the government of Cambodia, or at least eventually, Southeast Asian as a whole, needs to address this issue, especially, critical issue and land dispute in the Indochina region. Anyway, this is our final news for today. This was the final news for today in Durian ASEAN. Thank you for listening.